That's what I keep on saying till I lose my mind. Feel like a bird in the sea breeze, shine like a moon in the last sky. Can you believe it till the end of your life? Go and read some books into a room. That's enough for satisfaction. Already know how to have fun. No need of explanation. What's it worth of nothing? What's it worth about this? Surely that doesn't matter. Storyteller. What's it worth of nothing? What's it worth about this? Oh no, it doesn't matter. So we will never lose. That I didn't ever be taller. That she loves some another. Just cause you think you know me, don't try to change my mind. Happiness of seeing a newborn. All future that could be dream of. Everything will be judged by our mortal life. Go eat some apples in the hills. Great papers that I need a food. Don't mind if we make a mistake. Now don't tell that hell I love. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth about them? Please spread these words forever. Storyteller. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth about them? How can it not matter? The soul we lost one by one. Look around, run around. There's nothing left to smile for. Look around, run around. There's nothing left to cry for. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth about them? Don't ever let it fade out. Storyteller. What's the worth of nothing? What's the worth about them? There is no need for sorrow. Great songs will never die. Get on to rock, get up to burn. Stand with the pride, never feel your desire. One day I noticed that my life was broken. It was not me who was controlling this body. Oh, I want to know what's really real to me before it vanishes like a wave. Get on the rock, get up the burn. Stand with the pride on me, the ways to make her. You must have heard it. Grasp the truth, hold it high. Right peace, that's what this made to start with. You haven't heard it, girl. Don't be afraid to listen to your own heart. Big fast sonic, that's my heartbeat in you. One day I noticed that the world was broken. Spoiled as hell, we had our senses down. Oh, I would see this whole to listen to your own heart. Beat the sonic that my heartbeat in you. Easy answers to swallow. Life is to gobble down the perfect killer. That truth is that you are the one being eaten. Don't need my answer to be written. The book. Oh, I'm on to keep my thirst for what is worth. No use in passion, not my own. Get on the rock, get up the back. Tell me the pride on me, the ways to make her. You must have heard it. Grasp the truth, hold it high. Trust the peace, that's how you're supposed to use it. You must have heard it. Go. Don't be afraid to look yourself in the eye. Beat the on you, that's my heartbeat in you.
Check. Hey, mic's on. Go, 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 go. Off. Sure is cold. It took me a minute to get kind of in the zone, but I'm here. I made it. I made it. I made it. Tuesday the 7th. All right. Morning. Howdy. Good stuff. Track's pretty chill there for a minute, but it's good stuff. So we got catching up to do today. Snares. Okay, sorry, I'm spacing out. Okay, what we need is to get things. So let's see. It's working. Alright. We're here, it's working. Theoretically, that's working. Yes, we can do that. I'm just enjoying the tunes too. Yeah, I guess that's what. It's super boring and stuff. Okay. Need to wake up so I can actually do this work. Anything else I need to do here? I don't think so. It's about as good as we get, huh? Okay, well, let's see. Oh, I still want to interrupt this track if it's not set up right. Oh. No, we're going to finish this track. Then I'll switch. I don't want to do that. I got to get it done. Sure. I guess that's what we'll focus on today. Hey, all right. Yes. Okay, that's what I thought. I was a little. I want to finish the track. Sure. I gotta keep the energy high, cause yeah. Keep moving. Display screen? Hey! So what the fuck is this? You ask. I don't know. No, I do know. So just turn it. Let's try that. Not gonna work. Turn it up. Let's see. Down. I mean up. Like 7.5. Let's try that. Better if the mic was right up in my face, but God, I don't like that so much. I mean, technically, that's what you should do. Right? It should be like right here, all up in my grill, up in my face. So what are we doing here? I mean, you can read, right? I hope. You can't. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, well that's off. So this does screw. Hey. Pop filter. I don't even know if I need a pop filter, honestly. Alright. What the fuck is a brand guide? This. So, I'm in talks with a group of folks I really, really appreciate. And just every time I talk to this individual with this group, I learn something business-wise, right? Because this guy actually gets shit done. And he gets things moving within an industry where shit doesn't move much. Both product and just in general. And part of that is, you know, you'd say this would be, I think this would assist him in what he's trying to do, as well as me in what I need to, right? So this is kind of how I broke it down, though this isn't 100% what you want to break down, right? It just kind of tells you what it's going to do, right? So here. What the fuck is a brand guide? The link's in chat now if you want to look at this page directly. You also kind of need that as well, but basically we're going to build a document that you sell what you're trying to do with folks, or to folks. So, for instance, oh, I think that's still saved in issue 2, right? Or issue 3. Yes. Oh, that's a good track. Yeah, let's go with that. Basically, Brand Guy breaks down what you're trying to do. It's how you interact with folks, what your product or set of products should generally look like, the overarching structure of what you're trying to do. And you break down different points. I'm breaking it down into these 5, but there probably are more, right? Really easy shit like that, right? This kind of shit. Brand friendly, scientific, humorous. Include examples of applications. Oh, interesting. Okay. Some of these I will be skipping. I wish I had an example brand. Right, it doesn't. So we're kind of working off of what I believe a brand guide is. Doesn't mean it's actually going to work. Not going to be the most entertaining thing stream, but I had the word identity. Oh, okay. I think that covers it for now. Clear vision. A fucking kid. Ah, it's too early. Crunchy. Okay. Definitely spelled that. Oh shit. Did I not? No way that's how you spell narcissism. Doesn't have problems with it, but it's not that. Something there. It's not bad. Okay, I think we'll go back to. Can I do that in a? I wonder. Guess we'll find out. It's pretty rough. Well, we'll find out. Let's see. Let's see. That's what I thought. It's too big. keyboards for this a lot, but I don't mind it. British spelling of it. Fine. I do know a couple words. Wisdom.
I stopped counting so long ago. Enemies keep coming after me. Still acknowledge, yeah, you got it all. If you ask me, yeah, it's all a game of chance. Don't know the thinking. Life never goes that way that you want. That's how it is. No matter what life throws at you, take it on. Whoa, fight like a tiger, walk in the park, play the hero till I die. Fly like an eagle, soar through the sky, be free till you die. I don't believe in any miracles. I risk a lot every day. Gambling's only for fools. Take nothing for granted.
Oh.
If you don't seize the chance, it's over for you. Life never goes the way you want. That's how it is. No matter what happens, face it all head on. Whoa, fight like a tiger, walk in the park, play the hero till I die. Fly like an eagle, soar through the sky, be free till you die.
Okay, dismiss. Achievements part's good enough.
Swimming against the harshest wave. The moment you give in, you'll get wiped out. Oh, fight like a tiger, walk in the park, play the hero till I die. Fly like an eagle, soar through the sky, be free till you die. Fight like a tiger. Fight like a tiger. Fly like an eagle, soar through the sky, be free.
Elizabeth
That's a hell of a note.
said, "People are always catching up, never catching down."
This is true. This is true. Only thing I think of is like when a ball's rolling a baseball on the ground and you pick it up. But it's still not a catch, is it? It's a pickup. Can you even catch down? It's a good question, Eliza Bar. Also, good morning. That's a good question. But yeah, I'm unsure. Can you even catch them? Is it possible? I don't know. I do not know. Probably don't need more coffee. Taking a breather from working on the brain. There's a lot more to do on it. But you gotta put energy that way. I'm in talks that could end up pretty cool if all works out. It's gonna take some time, it'll shake out, but put in the effort. It helps me understand what I'm doing too. There's a reason these things exist. Oh god. There we go. It's a good track, but come on. No. Maybe. Sure, I guess. No. Oh. There's some good stuff, but I think it's too heavy for me. It's good for wake up, but something kind of chilled. That's a little better. Caffeine gets the go going, but like I have no traction. It's like a tire without tread, right? it's just peeling out, all the smoke's popping up, my brain's all fogged by it. We got somewhere. Wrote a little bit. I just have to accept the achievements and then like bluff a little in terms of like how I feel about them. They exist, so it's not a lie. It's just one of those things. They call it imposter syndrome. So getting it accurately where I'm not underselling it or too far overselling. It's tough.
Elizabar said, I'm working on my beautiful latte with 3 shots of espresso in it.
I only had espresso a couple times. My ex's dad had an espresso machine. That's his big deal. It's good. I would prefer espresso than the cheap coffee I do. But yeah, I am definitely on the cheap end right now. I'm just happy to have caffeine. It might be the quality of the caffeine that's also like, what else is in it, right? You would think coffee's pretty simple, but fillers, I don't even know. That might not be helping either. Oh, I'm jealous, I guess is how I'll track that. I'm very jealous. I wish I had a latte with 3 shots of espresso. In fact, I don't think I've ever had a latte. Yeah, I couldn't say I have. I may have, but I don't. Only gotten coffee out maybe twice.
Elizabar said,
Yeah.
Come to Wisconsin, I will get you the best latte.
Ooh, the best. That might be worth it. Get all the way out to Wisconsin. That and then I can pick up some of the best cheese. I like me some cheese. I like me some good cheese. I think that's Wisconsin's like, at least it was, like one of its big deal. Yeah, I could go for that. That's the other thing. I probably need some breakfast to go with this coffee, but I have not done that. Just probably fry up some cheap old hash browns, but they'll be good. I like some potatoes. Potatoes are dope. I need to remove the metal from this plate. I mean, I could do that. I just don't want to right now. Got something with some. Want something with some bounce. Okay, this has bounce, but it's not the bounce I want.
Scott K. said, howdy.
This one gets hit. Howdy, Scott. How you been, brother? Hope you've been well. Working on something. Whoa. Brain. Okay. It's got a little bit more bounce to it. Not what I want. Shush. No. Gotta get the music to line up. It's better. Fucking blew my ears out waking up this morning with this, and I fucking played bass very, very loud this morning just to get moving. It worked, but now that I'm here, working on this thing, it's called a brand guide. I'm in talks with some folks about something that could be very, very neat that maybe could happen next year. So we'll see, but this is some of the business end of it so that it can be sold more easily by this guy to what he wants to do. So we'll see, Scott. But yeah, movement. Always doing something. You gotta. Will it actually pay off? Who knows? But yeah. So building the brand guide. Didn't even know what the fuck a brand guide was. He's like, this would be like, I love what you're saying, but it'd be easier if it was this. I was like, what the fuck is this? He's like, oh, it's this. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So yeah. If nothing else, it's a good exercise for me to understand what I'm trying to do with this thing, this sigil, this fucking gathering of energy and expression and artistic integrity and amazing creative. So what am I fucking trying to do with this thing? So very helpful. So yeah, I'm working on that. I just hit the part where I'm like, what do I list? That thousands of readers have checked out our work, yes. That I've made nearly 50K off of it, sure. I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing. It's more than some, less than others. So I don't know if I put that in there. Do I put the amount of wonderful talents we've worked with? I think so. Do I put the social media presence in there? Maybe. It's not a massive social media presence, but again, you can compare it to many others, and it is pretty large. I don't know what to put in here. It's either too much or too little, and I don't know if I should bluff a little in terms of like paint it as this big fucking deal, or hit it as honestly as I can. I know I don't want to undersell. So that's why I stopped. It's like I hit a wall there. This is a little bit easier to work on the goals. It's relatively obvious. I want to grow a platform in which this is these things. And I might have actually muddied vision with goal. See, there's those things too. So I don't know. Nothing else is a good exercise that is necessary. But at the same time, it's going to be a bit till this matters. But I wanted to do it today. The catching up is also, we did... I pushed a little bit on Recluse the last couple days. Just for the hell of it. But it certainly was not a massive, like, rally kind of effort. Good. Let me hear if...
Scott K.
Okay, that guy's working.
Said, sorry at work and someone needed something, been good and just enjoying life without social media.
Good, enjoy that. I have not done that for 5 years, almost 6 now. I think it's 6, 2 months from now. Yeah, it's 6 in January. I've been doing this. No breaks.
Ichthy said, what is up, Total Excellence Crocodile?
Total Excellence Crocodile indeed. Howdy, Ichthus. Welcome. Building the brand guide. If you folks are interested in what a brand guide is, there should be a link above in chat, but I will shoot that back again. It's an exercise, if nothing else, in understanding what you're trying to do with your brand, because that's just how it works, right? Duh. But, so there's a link if anybody's interested. So I'm just kind of trying to crack these things up. I wouldn't use my exact bits. I've never done this before. I haven't even seen an example of a brand guide. But I read that, and I'm trying to build it how I would build it, in talks with somebody, and this would be a useful tool both for me, just as a general exercise, but for them in moving things forward. So we'll see. This is kind of next year kind of stuff, but it's good exercise. Understanding what I'm doing and kind of trying to honor this and build it and kind of break down what I've been trying to do over the last nearly 6 years. And yeah, I got stuck though. These were kind of easy, and then I got stuck here where I don't. How do you humble brag? Trying to look at it because mainly what a brand guide is selling to investors.
How do you ichthy 5?
It's basically for investors, so you got to look at it from the why would you do this, right? It's not just that. There's a oh god, I've been shown that by the same individual as well. I forgot what it's called. It's similar to this, but it's more focused on that business end. Oh, what's that called? Let me see if I can find that in our conversations. I don't know if I can. I can't share the conversations, but I can talk about it if I find it. The reason why I'm trying to listen to this individual as well is because they've been successful in a medium and they've moved something that, again, I think I said it at the beginning of the stream, moved something that doesn't tend to move. So, yeah.
Ichthy said, "Howdy Scott K, how are you, dude?"
Here's a good quote from this individual. The comics industry will only be successful in the long term if it can shed its biases, embrace creation from a wide variety of creators, and shift mentality from everything must be free to some things are, some are not. That's the only way to help creators be successful, in his honest opinion. I agree. But yeah, I can't find what I'm looking for. Okay, most of this must have been in a different
Scott
chat,
K,
which actually makes sense.
said, "Recovering from my crazy October."
Crazy ass October. My late September till now has been insane. I was up for 36 hours from Friday on, which sucked. I just couldn't sleep. Like, legitimately, it was just a terrible insomnia attack. And then another day, I don't know, last week or whatever, I was up about that long. But I did a painting towards the end of it, and it was a great exercise. It's another good exercise, but it was like a...
Eliza Bar said, "You should have streamed your insomnia glitched Malania."
I haven't wanted to, like... I've been playing a lot of video games. I usually do that when I am depressed. So it's not the greatest combination for streaming. That's why I haven't streamed lately. And I did a lot of streaming, right? For a good chunk of time, I was doing it very consistently. Because when I don't have a job, it's rough mentally on me. So I was like, effort, grind, do this, do something new, project, do something, move. And it's just... it's not healthy when I honestly, with my last gig, have been needing to breathe. And so anyway, that long insomnia bit that then ended up being painting, it was ritualistic. And so, like, some rituals I am happy to stream and to do, like what I'm doing here, right? This exercise, this brand guide exercise, it's a ritual. But that one in particular is very personal. And to be honest, there are other substances involved sometimes that I would not stream while on. But
Eliza Bar
You know, I get it.
Said,
I mean, I can show the painting.
I've been doing a daily doodle of people every day in November. It's been fun, but I'm gonna run out of people at some point, lol.
You've done like 7 billion of them? Fucking hey, man. I get you. I would just, you know, you can pick random photos. There's plenty of like free references out there. Just saying. But, you know, if you need an excuse to breathe, then just come up with one. It's fine. Again, that's what I've been doing too. Is like, try not to kick my ass too hard because I am putting out energies that hopefully will attract a new place for me to land. But it's been disheartening that some of those have not like manifested. So try not to push that too hard as well. Here, watch. I'll show you, folks. So, like, again, I wouldn't stream the actual bit unless I was like making money off of it, because then the ritual might be actually worth sharing. It's a lot though. But I will show like the piece.
Said, hope for a speedy recovery for you, Scott K. I was chased by ravenous children chasing after me since I was dressed as a candy. I kept screaming, this is bullshit.
I'm not a painter. Keep that in mind. Not a painter. I have painted, but I'm not a painter. And the only point of this piece was to take the swirl and chaos, let's just call it, and it's a little bit deeper than that, that's been going on for a while with me, and I mean a while, it's been years, and distill it into some kind of expression. I haven't worked with a canvas before where what I've painted on is miniatures, so it's like coloring, right? It's a very specific shape.
Said,
this was not that.
Rolling on the floor laughing. David Schmelling said, howdy from Germany D.
Howdy, howdy. Morning in our end. Oh, really? Display screen? Oh, you're just not going to do that for me. All right. Well, I'm going to press the button then, you bastard. Oh, I guess... did I turn it off? Off? No, it doesn't. Fine. Look at my Twitter. No, I have the setup for full cam, I thought. Oh, no, I don't. Easy to fix, though.
Eliza Bar said, I need to get back to mucking around with deco-uppage. I bought some cheap canvases and then promptly stopped doing it, lol.
Decoupage. Let me look that up. I've heard that term before, but it's been a long time since I've heard it. When I heard it, I didn't know what it was. Decoupage. Decoupage. Oh, this keyboard. Tripped over it, pulled out some of the inputs on it, or, you know,
Eliza
stretched out the input,
said,
and it's been a little...
It's like making a collage, but in a particular way.
Oh, okay. Let me look at one, though. No, that's not it. Decal. Freaking French. Poggy. Deco-poggy. Can I get my mouse back, please? Oh! Oh! Okay. Like, here's a guitar with it. Okay. Okay. But no, no. Webcam. Webcams. Video capture. That's adding fist. Cam. Boom. Okay, hi. And then I need to turn off the NVIDIA broadcaster.
Ichthy
Oh no, you know what? I might
said,
not need to.
Cody, you never transferred your knowledge of painting with digital coloring for comics or whenever you share your thought process with your colorist.
It specifically looks like it looks for people. That makes sense. Okay, no, I do need to turn it off. Off. Disappear. Go away. No? Okay, well then we'll need to do it this way. This'll work. Yeah. I am just not like that kind of artist. Light. It's literally just me scraping at an image for a long time. Believe it or not, 2 hours, 3 hours or so of just fucking with colors and trying to get a emotional expression onto canvas. I'm, I played a lot of music, so that's one way I do it as well. I'm an artist for like coping, not so much for skill or pay. Okay, back over here. You never transfer your knowledge of painting with digital coloring. Yeah, I don't know digital coloring. Comics or whenever you share your thought process with my colors. So I pay top dollar for incredible talents that know what they're doing. Makes it very easy for me to be hands off. I write a script and we see what can be made as a collaborative effort. I very rarely have had to intervene in any way during either of the artistic creation processes. Because what I do is I write the script, Maxie builds the lines how he wants to, whether that's combining pages, lowering, adding panels, whatever he feels fits the vibe better. And then it gets colored, and I rewrite to the art. So I'm at the beginning, and I'm towards the end. But that whole middle part that has like the stuff that people really like, I try and not fuck with it. Because my clear vision doesn't involve a large amount of control. Like I chose Jack's colors, what I wanted his colors to be, right? But what the actual saturation and how they do their texturing and all that of the colors, none of my business. As long as it looks good. And that's the nice thing about working with the same folks for as long as I have as well, is that I understand what they're going to put out, so I can trust that. And it gives them room to experiment, do what they feel, because I want them on that book, not them working for me on that book, if you understand. And again, it goes back to why I haven't been able to. Nope. This one. Oh, so display screen. Okay, it works on this one. Well, I haven't done this too, so I've got a big bit of imposter syndrome. It's very hard for my ego to step in on things, even though there are successes which are very much worthy of celebrating, right? But part of the collaborative effort of comics, for me, is letting them do their expressions, simply guided by a loose framework that I've put together. What was kind of neat is I think Goran Parlov, so I can show this as well. Give me a second. I kind of want to ask, but I don't want to be a dick. But Goran Parlov, he's one of my favorite Punisher artists of all time. I really like what he does. He's been sharing scripts next to the artwork. I'm curious if these are actually Ennis's scripts or not, because if they are, he and I write pages very similar, and I didn't even know that. So, here's some Goran Parlov stuff, but it's been neat to see these scripts. I'm pretty sure this is how Ennis writes his scripts, which is kind of crazy. I hadn't seen an Ennis script before. I've seen a Morrison script. I've seen a Moore script. I've seen a Jeff Loeb script. All of them are different. Fucking Moore, he might as well just write a book. Very specific, very controlling on what he wants. Morrison's very similar. This is kind of what I do. You describe the scene, and then you do the dialogue. And sometimes describing the scene is very fucking simple. So it's just kind of neat. I just thought it was neat because I have not seen an Ennis script ever. And the fact that
Elizabar
it's structurally
said,
similar is funny.
well, when you worship chaos gods or snake gods, you have to be very controlling.
Yeah, that's how it works. It's true though. It's true. That's funny. I'd like to see a Gaiman strip, script as well, just so I have those, you know, the British and Ennis's sketch, Scottish, new wave of comic books, right? Comic book writers, just so I can compare them all. I bet Gaiman's also pretty controlling. And he does write books. Gaiman's like, okay, I'll just write. Good on him. So I'm guessing his scripts are like that as well. And some artists really need that as well, right? They love the high amount of detail. They feel more comfortable when they know what exactly you're expecting as a collaborator. And some need the freedom to do what they need to do. I certainly prefer working with the latter. I haven't done much work with people who are like, well, I need more specifics. But I've seen that. So I don't know. I'd like to also look at what I call cartoonist scripts, you know, the folks who do everything. If they script, I know some cartoonists just go straight into thumbnails. And then from the thumbnails, they'll do loose lettering on top, right? Like you'll see that from Jack Kirby quite often. You'll see his thumbnails that actually had the writing on top of it, basically ready to go for inks, right? With the lettering basically there, all crazy. So I love about comic books so much, and writing comic books in particular, is that it's so free. It's great stuff. Oh, I don't want to finish that because I don't know how to list the achievements without underselling or feeling like I'm overselling them. Ugh. I don't even know what this is from. It's a great track though. Decoupage. Ooh, that's nice. Looks like it's often layered on objects as well instead of just canvases. But you can do it on canvas. There's one on canvas. Okay. A lot of floral patterns. Crazy amount of floral patterns. Okay. Very cool though. Did I have anything in here that's actually worth chatting about? So I know I've had things I've wanted to chat about structure of stream around that I just haven't gotten to.
Elizabar said, yeah, people will decoupage a tabletop or chest or other object for decor. I just wanted to do it because the glue is also the sealant, so by doing it you protect the final product.
That makes sense. Like on the painting I showed, it's literally it's got an acrylic spray over it to do that, and I do that with the miniatures as well, to seal it, as you say. It's got a term. I ain't got it in my brain right now though. Oh, like this was interesting, but let's do that again. Had to skip the round table this weekend because of that insomnia. That was rough. Well, also I just didn't feel it. Was the other bit. Like I could have forced myself to it, which is what I did the first time, but I just didn't feel it. This coming week though, it will be done. Where's the thing? I'm looking for a thing. Am I not gonna find this thing?
Ichthy
Might be a while
said,
back.
how is everything going with Jack Irons and other comics you have under your iron belt?
Jack number 4 is shipped domestically. The issues. Still working on some of the extras. All the pinups are out domestically as well, and the stickers. Big whoop. I mean, it's a big whoop. I'm so glad I'm able to do that, but like, been kicking myself for a very long time on not being able to get it done as quickly as I had hoped. Even using the term quickly is rough. But it's going well. Scott K and the Recluse sadly did not fund. We got a little over halfway, which was nice, but just it did not connect how we would have liked it to, and also just our personal positions didn't allow us to sell it how it deserved to be sold, I think. So we'll see where that ends up going. There are more pages that might be shared here soon, so I'm excited for that. Tactics Coyote released on GC, Global Comics, not too long ago. It's doing pretty well considering it's only a 15-page kind of preview ash can. I think it's a lot of fun. Lizbar actually has a wonderful review of it up on his channel, which is neat. I love when people actually take the time to express their thoughts on our work. Means quite a lot, good or bad, honestly. And interaction is, for one, just like how you get more interaction is you have things to work off of, but two, it's helpful creatively. Our co-founder at IronVerse Comics, Dollar Coins, he graduated from basic training. He is now an official part of our armed forces, which is killer. He looks good in his uniform. Very proud of him. It's actually quicker than we both thought it would be, which was cool, but they need people, especially right now, right? I've got, again, that's why I was doing the brand guide, is I'm in talks with somebody pretty neat that hopefully will manifest into a very good position for Jack in particular, but for IronVerse Comics in general. That's why I'm building the brand guide. That's next year, and that's after I get through this set of trials, I'm going to call them, because I have to figure out still how to finish Jack 4's shipping everywhere and how to just kind of be able to step back for a minute, which I was hoping to do this year, and I have not been able to step back for a second, which is fine. I love what we do, so, burnout occurs, but it's not as destructive as burnout, from which you're forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. Otherwise, yeah, not that much movement, to be honest, but good things. Built a Creator Roundtable, did one stream of it, had to skip the second, but that's how it goes. Working with Laguna Munta on another stream called Walk with Giants. I'm excited about that. We're just basically talking big philosophical concepts for about an hour and a half. It'll be every Sunday. So that I'm hoping that'll give me some structure to consistently be streaming. I will go ahead and link that, actually. Let's go. Boom. So here is our channel. Love it if you would sub. We are working on that. Oh, it's just it here. But I'm excited. Is this our trailer? Yes, this is our trailer. I'll go ahead and play that.
Ichthy said, "Are you going to create a graphic novel of Jack Irons and post it up on Amazon or crowdfunding to scoop any more content?"
So I'll answer that before we get into this. A fun track. So I've tried that. I tried that when we finished issue 3, I feel like. I tried to run a Kickstarter that would have been a hardcover of all 3. It did not fund. It got some funding. It could have been printed and shipped, but it wasn't the funding we needed to actually make the effort worth it. And it didn't finish, right? That's why it wasn't enough. But I would like to do that. I really would. I have to finish this, though, first, right? That's my thing. It's like, I could double dip. I don't think... In fact, I might even need to double dip. And that's where I've been looking at for a while. It's like, well, how the fuck do I get this done with the fact that I did not make enough money to create and
triple dip.
Yeah, right.
Elizabar said, quadruple dip.
Wish I could. But, like, I can't do it before everyone has their books, at the very least, right? I have to get all the international orders out before I could even consider doing anything like that. All the digital, of course, has been out, right? Like, that's done. That's the easiest fucking bit. And part of this, these talks might allow me to primarily work through digital, which would be
Ichthy
a lot less to worry
said,
about.
slam dunk that dip.
Right, that's the bit. But it's a kind of a nasty look, and like to my heart, it's rough because I could do it with issues 1 through 3, with less moral quandaries. But I already tried that and it didn't work. And so I'm like, well, do you try it again? Do you try it on GoGo instead of Kickstarter? Would that work? My problem is, no matter what I do, if I launch another book, the people who have not received their number 4, and some in their cases 1 through 3 as well, for the international, it's not a direct slap in the face, but it's kind of a, really? And some of that is, well, guys, I didn't get enough funding to complete issue 4. This would allow me to do that and to put it behind me and to fucking breathe. At the same time, like, it's still not the correct thing to do from a creative, artistic standpoint. Hearts, you honor the energy that's already been given before you ask for more. And it's even rougher now. That it's like, well, now I'm out of work. I can't even, and that's how I had saved. We actually had almost finished issue 4 before I lost my job. Before the shelter had to shrink, and that came with, again, I've been grieving like crazy. Both quite literally, because there were some euthanizations that had to come very rushed, because the shelter was having to shrink like crazy. But also because I really appreciated that job. And so I've been trying to get through that grief so I can find some place to stand. But that was allowing me to say I had saved enough. I think I could have finished issue 4 by now, had it all shipped out and done, like all the extras and everything. But the last 2 months I've been out of work, so that savings had to be pivoted towards survival and taking care of my animals, and making sure the property taxes were paid. It sucks. So I'm also pissed that that's been a thing. So I don't know. I'm trying to be patient. I'm hoping things will shake out. I don't really want to ask for any more money for anything. Or there's a GoFundMe or anything. My truck's breaking down. I don't have the money for that. There's a lot of that shit that's going on too that has made these kind of efforts a lot harder. It's just like, well, this isn't, it's something I love, it's something that's important to me, but I'm barely capable of standing on my own 2 feet. And that's just the honest, like, brass tacks of it. It's partially what was leaning into my, what the Recruces failures as well, is that I have been able to give 70%, let alone 115, which is usually what these things require to actually happen from my standpoint, because the platform I've built is not reliable. The fact of the matter is the last 2 campaigns funded the last day, and I don't know if it was out of pity or actual dedication. And I've wrestled with that for a long time too. I think it's people who love the work, want to see us succeed. But at the same time, like, the amount of effort it has taken every time, I've had to ask for more every time, it still has not succeeded, paints this business, not the art, the business in a very poor light. For me, just as like like, should I continue it kind of deal. I've lost money the last 2 campaigns, a significant amount of money from the lifestyle and ability I've been able to live at for basically my whole life, but in particular since my father's passing, since other things, and I was really like grounded by my previous job at the shelter, It got me up out of bed out of the morning. It felt fulfilling, and it paid the bills. Um, but that's not a thing. So I'm trying to get footing under me before I can really push hard in a specific direction that would ask for fun. And I don't know when that'll happen. I had to break it down to this individual I'm talking about. Like, this is what, because one of the first things, like, how much would it cost to get you to do the next issue? How many issues do you plan? Is the first bit. I was like, well, this and this. I want to get to at least 6 for this arc. That would allow me to finish my message. In fact, issue 5 allows me to finish my message, but it needs a little bit more to full circle. But 5's super important. It's the most important issue. And I'm super, I want to get it out. I want to get it done. I even think I should write it while I'm in this mindset, so I give you an idea of its vibes. And I probably will, honestly. But I'm lost, but I'm proud that I'm capable to survive this for some time, and I'm letting time shake things forward, and I'm hoping that eventually something shakes out, that I won't be left on a hook in some dangerous positions. And if I don't by the end of next month, I will be in a dangerous position. So that's, I'm in survival mode, and I wanted to be, you need to be in literally almost any other mode but survival to sell these things. And it is selling it. Like, I could work on anything during this. You've seen it, right? Like, give me a second. I need to respond to these. I've got a job here in an hour and a half, so I do have some work. It's not like I'm not making any money, but it's enough to feed my dogs. Right? Like, it's not great. Oh, shit. Oh, cool. I don't have to drive. So I actually don't have to leave when I thought I did, and I still have the job. That's good. What I do is I'm the, if you've heard the term gopher for a local artist who I really, really appreciate. He's a cool dude. Went through the Chicago Institute of Art. The work he does is fucking insane. But he's got MS, so he can't walk around too easy and stuff like that. He had a doctor's appointment today. The doc had COVID, so he's doing it over the phone. Been awake since 6. Streaming at the moment. And see, like, this stuff too, like this honest, like, oh, I'm in trouble, I'm hurting, and depression, and struggling. Nobody wants to hear that shit. I don't mind sharing it. Like, it's good for me. It's another form of, what the painting was, right? It's another form of emotion. It's another emotional outlet for me. That's the other bit too, is like, I used to, I was working 4 days a week, so I'd see people 5 days. Well, I was working 5 days a week with this other gig I'm talking about. But, I'd see people 5 days a week. Now I'm seeing people 1 day a week. So I'm also in, like, major hermit mode, which I easily fall into. Because I don't care for people. Like, the general concept of people. Individuals I love. I adore certain people. Like, heart and soul. Like, beautiful, beautiful people out there. But, like, ugh. So that was also why I was streaming so much, because it's another outlet. Like, you need to interact with people. It's healthy, and it keeps your brain functioning properly. Just that kind of shit, right? So it's hard for me to want to double dip, I guess, overall. It's that. It's just all this shit swimming, and I don't want the moral quandary of, well, now I'm begging for money, too, for a work that I've already produced that's years old. I love this work. I love what we've been able to do with it. I love the form it's taken. I don't love the struggle it's been to get out constantly and it nags at me that the fact that it might not be as good as I feel it is, because of the amount of success it's seen. But I think that's not on its merits, it's on mine, which almost is worse. If I couldn't sell a shit book, that would be one thing, right? But yeah, and see, huge drop in watching when I was talking about that viewership. So that's how it goes. Thank you, Eliza Barr. That's fun. It's actually pretty good. But then, yeah, I'm supposed to sell you on another project I'm doing, right? This Walk with Giants. It's rough. It's okay. I'm always going to be. Folks are stuck with that. To the point that, like, it's gonna exist, not so that you actually have to engage with it. So that's fun, Eliza Bar. I don't know if you're still here. That's fun. Well, that's this Sunday. I don't know why I can't do that. Okay. But yeah, I
Eliza Barr
appreciate it, folks.
said, inspiration struck when you were in profile.
Nice.
Eliza Barr said, and profile is hard to doodle.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not like. I mean, I've done drawing streams, right? You guys know how I can draw. I can't draw. It's just not a thing. But I try. And that's the thing too. Is like I've got a couple streams that I need to still do there where I almost this morning did the priming of the Jack figures on stream, but like, nope. We'll get to that. I will appreciate that. I do love painting. Like, I absolutely adore it. So we will get to that. But I'm really hoping to have the ground under me soon. Free fall sucks. Free fall sucks so much. There's so much like fear and like flailing and some folks, and I might be one of them in certain circumstances, create great works under stressors. I certainly prefer to feel like, oh, it's okay, I can take this time, but I'm not wasting because it's okay. I have this time. You're set. You're taken care of. But yeah, we'll see. We will see, but I'm not going anywhere. If somebody gets really pissed off it's taking forever, they can bring it up to me and I'll say, yep, you're right. I'm working on it. Here's the plan. I do have that plan. As soon as I get back to work, here's the plan. Yeah, I'm just glad I was able to get all the domestic out. So I have been asking for folks to send in their order contribution numbers and their email addresses in case it didn't go back. We did have a couple come back in that maybe their address changed, and it did get changed on Indiegogo, right? But we'll see. Also, the folks over at Wicked, in particular Mike over at Wicked, who's been handling our fulfillment like a boss, he has been in a similar circumstance, so he's been a little harder to get a hold of than I'd like. So I'm just trying to be patient. I think patience is the only way I'm going to survive. Because if I'm not patient, it still just means there's nothing I can do. So it just leads to harder flame. Harder
said, who was your 3D printer for the Jack Irons statue that was rad?
His name I think was Model C16, something like that. I never got his actual name. He printed these in batch, and then, or he's printed one, And then Wicked ordered a batch, and they didn't come out great in terms of like quality. And then how he packaged them broke off one of the barrels, and some of the barrels didn't actually get shipped with the bits. So that was also just like yay. But he did a cool job on the 3D models. Not exactly what I would have liked, something more stylistic and less realistic. But you know, he did the whole thing himself. But we don't know what happened. He went ghost like a couple years back at this point, and I don't know. None of the folks who worked with him know kind of what happened. So I'm afraid something bad happened to that individual, which would be very, very sad. But yeah, I can't tell you. There are plenty of folks now, though. If you look up 3D modelers, you can get your 3D model set up for printing. You just send them your image, you pay them to kind of make a 3D of your image, and then you would take that file, and there are tons of 3D printing companies that can manifest the work into a statue if you like. There are many ways to do it. I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't for this individual reaching out, because again, one of my other bits is I take on far too many responsibilities, and that was one of them. It's awesome. I'm glad to have it. I've got my painted one behind me somewhere. Might be able to see it. Let me see. Man, that Persona vibe. It's good stuff. I have to change it on here. Can you? Oh, God. No. Why do I have to reset that? Where is it? Oh, no, you can. He would be right. Nope, wrong hand. Right there. Yeah.
Ichthy said, "Wow, the end of October ghost story.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what happened. He's a neat individual. He also built, years back, he built a full physical prop gun from the image that Vincent Rush did of Jack way back when, which is pretty neat. He never ended up sending it to me, which is sad as well, because I wanted that. But it's cool. I got the picture of it. But yeah, it's how things go, right? Here, that I can show. Far Cry 5 music. Oh, that's gonna take a while. It's doing that thing. It doesn't keep scrolling down, so I have to reset it every time. Can I do it like this? That should do it. Okay, cool. It's literally my first bookmark, and I probably have 100. There it is. Super neat. Very cool stuff. 360. Oh, 360. But yeah. Again, my main goal is not to wallow and to be patient and to keep working. And that's where we're at. Where I'm at lately with everything. And keeping busy, that's the other thing. God, I'm sure. Yeah. That's a good fucking Pokemon. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna finish that today because I gotta figure out how I wanna phrase, our achievements are merits, like what we've done, where it doesn't feel like
Ichthy
I'm humble bragging.
said, dude, that looks absolutely sick.
Right. So it does exist somewhere. So that was neat. That was one of those original things when Jack first like hit and got like a good amount of buzz. There's a lot of cool little things like that. I mean, the amount of fan art we got, all these kinds of
Eliza
stuff.
Bar
Jack had some buzz at one
said,
point.
LUL.
Jack had some buzz at some point. I'm trying, would love to rekindle that, but issue 4, like, even issue 3 got, you know, each issue's gotten less hype, and I don't know if the quality's been less or if just my proven, like, my business model and how things have shaken out have really, like, tainted the brand. I think the work's gotten better each time, artistically, and like my writing. I think everything's gotten better each time, but certainly not enough that we've continued to attract a large audience. I think that's consistency more than anything. People don't know, right? It's hard to involve yourself with something
Eliza Bar
when it's a year in between each
said,
effort.
Issue 2 was a rough one, dude, which reminds me I need to read issue 4 still. I am so behind on my reading. I've got like 200 books stacked up.
I don't have 200, but I have a lot of indie books. And like I fell behind on Iconic Comics stuff when they did the crossover with Soulfinder and Black Ops. Like I was like, oh, okay, I gotta read Soulfinder. I finished Soulfinder 1. I did not read Soulfinder 2 yet. And since I didn't read those, I haven't caught up on Common America, which I was reading basically as it came out for a while. Like I have not been reading much. There's a few manga volumes that come out here and there I've been reading, like Spy X Family I've been reading as it came out, like what was it, Volume 10? Yeah, Volume 10 came out this month, so I got that, read that. Fucking excellent as always. In fact, it was one of the more emotionally grounded ones, which was really cool to see. I read Blame, Volume 1. I guess it's Volume 1, but they're fucking thick volumes that he does. And I use read very loosely because it's mostly art. It's mostly just
Eliza Bar
art, not much dialogue
said,
or narration.
There
No
was a
narration.
week or two where all my reading went into the Epic of Gilgamesh, and that really put me behind on everything else.
Ha! Well, that's good. I mean, the classics have more value than most of what's out these days. To be fair, so good on you. I have a comic that's an small, like it's a piece of a run. It's a adaptation of the Epic. Actually, got the publisher's a weird publisher too. One of those just offshoot publishers, just kind of like
Eliza Bar said, poor Humbaba got done dirty.
Or Humbaba. I have not read it, to be honest. I have not read the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the first heroic tales ever put to stone first, or papyrus maybe. Yeah, I'm super behind on my reading too. Like there's a lot of stuff I've been meaning to read. That's the Iconic Comics stuff is one. Got Kids and Monsters, which is from Gifted Rebels with Adam Lawson, and Maxie did the art with fucking Mike Spicer, which is incredible. I really want to read that, and I have not read because I can't be like sitting there reading right now. Silence is it's difficult. Again, I've read a few things, but I've been working my way through Neil Peart's Ghost Rider because it deals with grief and stuff. But that one's been a crawl because it deals with grief and such. There's a bunch of I want to read Big Titty Goth Girlfriends on the Moon from Cirque. Just because I like his art style so much. I think it's probably from the artwork I've seen. I'm sure it's actually got a good sense of humor to it, so I want to check that out. I haven't read Robert from BoogieBot Comics, which I was waiting for that forever. There's a bunch of stuff I was waiting for forever that I just have not picked up. It happens, man. It happens. So I get you. I get you with issue 4. No words. I understand. Again, I've been playing video games. That's been tearing through my time. Did a Civ 6 campaign, and that tore through like a day, right? Like hours and hours. Recently jumped back into a RimWorld game, which that was literally, I played that for like 13 hours one day just to like lose myself. It's one of those games I can have something like a YouTube series or whatever going on. Watched a lot of YouTube. I watched Wendigoon's breakdowns of Dante's Divine Comedy, so all 3 of them. That was fun. I've seen a couple breakdowns of Divine Comedy, so I try and have that kind of kicking in the back of my brain without having to read the actual poetry, which is rough to read these days. With my sensibilities, if something's tough to read, I usually don't. That goes for comics as well. Then, God. Going through the Angry Video Game Nerd seasons again. It's good stuff to just have in the background. That's like
Elizabeth said,
I don't have to have my brain on.
I haven't read Dante in a long time and I never made it past Inferno.
So Wendigoon loved Purgatorio and Paradiso. And I have to agree. The Inferno gets all the love in the U.S. because I think the Puritan, we will punish you, and he had great ideas for punishment, Dante. But Purgatorio, something like that, and Paradiso are beautiful. They are wonderful works. Particularly Purgatorio, where it's got this sense of redemption to it, right? Beautiful stuff. And then Paradiso, it's very interesting. Oh, and there was the other one, Paradise Lost. I watched his breakdown on that as well. When I was a kid, God, must have been 14 or something, I found that book in my my school's library or whatever. I was like, what the fuck is this? From Milton, right? And just reading its breakdown of the harsh language and dealing with Satan and stuff was a big fucking deal. It's fine. Paradise Lost is fun. And then I also Paradise Regained. I watched his breakdown on that as well. I like that a bit more. Again, I like the hopeful bit, and I've seen a lot of like good parody. I don't know if folks will remember because it's a pretty niche show, but it's called Lucy, Daughter of the Devil, old Adult Swim show. Lasted a season. Had H. John Benjamin playing Satan, but it had a great parody of Paradise Regained. That whole concept, the temptations of Christ, right? So it just always reminds me of that because it's goofy as fuck. But that was really good. I like those breakdowns. I'll have them in the background while I'm playing with my dogs, right? That's a big one. I've been grateful I've been able to hang with my pups so much. That's one of the benefits of doing what I've been doing. Clean the house. I've not been idle, but I don't tend to. I put like almost 60 hours into Cyberpunk 2077 now, and I've been loving every second of it. I've been very glad I waited, and I didn't have to deal with buggy Cyberpunk. Terribly buggy. Like, this is less buggy than most Bethesda games, so I'm happy with it. Still a couple, like, very immersion-breaking bugs here and there, but it's fine. And then I had to think about the driving differently than I do, than I would in, like, a Grand Theft Auto or anything. And once I thought about the driving differently, it made sense, and I liked the driving. But I really had to think of it differently. When I first started, I hated the driving in 2077. I like that. I really appreciate the emotional and thought-provoking notes that they're writing with it. And the characterizations in 2077 is fucking amazing. Really, really like that game. I haven't had an RPG grab me like that for a very long time. Where I was just like, oh, I gotta keep playing. That was nice. That was one of the bits. There's a lot of its notes and beats I really glad I can get. Like that I'm hearing. I love stories because I love
Elizabeth
the emotional
said,
notes they have,
I played 2077 with mouse and keyboard except for driving, had to get my controller out for that LUL.
Exactly, because you just have Go on a mouse and keyboard, right? With the controller, you can have like lighter, and that's the bit. But they were going super realistic with the driving. Like, you don't feel like you're going very fast, but then you look at your speedometer and you're fucking hauling ass, and that's why you can't control yourself around corners and all that shit, or brake so hard, because you don't feel like you're going 115, but you're going 115. And so I had to like, oh no, look at the speedometer. Pay attention to how fast you're going. You're going a lot faster than you think you are. That's why you're losing control so easy. So just, and yeah. So I could see that with a keyboard being a bitch. I played the whole thing with a controller.
The 2.0 driving felt completely different from the driving in
Okay.
older patches. Cars felt weighty.
I didn't know that, but again, I waited for 2.0 to play. Been enjoying 2.0? I think I tried Cyberpunk a while back. In fact, I know I did because there's a stream on the channel. And it ran like shit, and I couldn't stream it. So I was like, okay, nah, this ain't worth it. But I did win. I recommend folks, because hedge your bets if you're going to enter sweepstakes. So I found a small computer company. Like, I just stumbled across it that was doing one of those generic giveaways that so many computer companies do. Like, win this graphics card for blah, blah, blah. Enter before then, like, retweet, all that. It's like, okay, well, this is a small one. How many people are going to enter? I'll enter. And I fucking won it. And so I ended up getting a 4060 Ti. And so that was nice. Like, been flailing, not feeling good stuff, and then I win like a $400 graphic card. It was killer. Allowed me to sell my old one too, which is up on eBay, my 1660. So my computer's a little bit more future-proofed as well, which has been nice. 1660 still, like, it was fine.
Eliza Bar
But for Cyberpunk,
said, "The amount of art I win from unsuspecting artists on Twitter is staggering. LUL."
Exactly. So those contests are usually a jip if they're massive. Like, you get to a certain scale with those sweepstakes, and you probably don't even have to give out the prize. Right? But if you're small, yeah, you got to put up. So I totally recommend, if you're entering those, look for smaller accounts that are doing it. Because at the worst, I was very careful about giving my address to a small account, of course, right? Like that kind of shit. I use a P.O. box for my mailing, so it's not that big of a deal. But nonetheless, just be careful. But with the bigger ones, like, I don't even think they have to announce a winner, right? Like, they can just get away with it if they want it, because there's just so much, and they got their interaction, and that's all they really wanted from it, right? But that was nice. That was one of those, like, chill, you'll be okay. We got you. One of those reminders from creation, from God, whatever you want to say. That's like, it's okay. You can breathe. It didn't help that much in terms of, but I've been able to not be like, I've been able to escape into video games, which I've done my whole life. So it's nice, but at some point you got to not escape, right? So I've been trying to do less of that the last couple of days. In fact, last couple times I tried to open games, it's like, I don't really want to do it. So
Eliza Bar said, "That reminds me, I might be in your neck of the woods next year road tripping to the Grand Canyon. Just started planning the trip. We could do lunch or something maybe."
Sure, brother. We're a little off of like the highway bits, right? You could, I think you might be able, if you're going to the canyon, you'll go through either Albuquerque or Santa Fe. If you're going through Santa Fe, I'm about an hour 45 away from Santa Fe. If you're going from Albuquerque, it's about 3 hours. So it depends on how you're planning your trip, but I'd love to do that, brother. It'd be great to meet. Like, I have not done that, right? I haven't met folks who I appreciate through this, because I'm in not the middle of nowhere. Like, I wouldn't say, like, I'm not in some random small town in Kansas, but Taos is an interesting place. We didn't have like an easy way to get into us from the north till 1969, when they built the Gorge Bridge. Before that, we had the old Santa Fe Trail Road, which is this, and we had I forgot what it was. Call it Goat Trail now. It's so bad, but it was an old, like, really cruddy highway going up towards. I guess what is Alamosa, which is, I mean, if you're going towards the big one, it eventually leads to Denver and Boulder, Colorado. Heading towards Arizona, I don't know what way you take going towards Arizona or going from Texas. I don't really know. I think in either case, it's better to go through Albuquerque, because it's kind of that cross. It goes north, it goes south to Mexico, it goes left to Arizona, and it goes right to Texas. Or east and west if you want to use actual compass cardinal directions. Yeah, I mean, that'd be great if you got a couple hours. Taos is beautiful, it's worth seeing. If you got an extra day to add, seeing the Taos Pueblo is very much worth it if they're open now. It's the oldest consistently lived in structure in North America. Depending on the time of year you come in too, they have some cool stuff. I think San Geronimo Day was open this year, which is the first for a while. They were really hit hard by COVID. So it took them a long time to reopen. We have the powwow that happens here as well, because the Red Willow people, the Tiwa, are Pueblo Indians, of course, what you call them, but they're an offshoot of the Navajo, and they've got a certain level of respect to them because of that consistently lived in structure. They've been able to live there forever. And we've got the history of the Taos Revolt, which is really nice, and we still have Bent Street where the natives drug the governor of New Mexico, who was here at that point, out and hung him on the street. We have an issue now, since the town is so old. They want to redo what we call our plaza, which was our town square before, but now it's kind of the tourist center, right? They can't find who owns the plaza. They thought the town did, but they can't prove that the town owns the plaza. So they can't find out, they can't legally do any renovations right now, which has been for the last couple of years. They actually had started tearing shit down and build out fences, and then they found out, can we actually do this? And they have been able to figure it out. This town's a mess. I love it. It's got all the Old West vibes still because of... We've got the three pillars here, and we have the Spaniards and the old Mexicans. We actually still speak ancient Spanish here, like Conquistador era Spanish.
Said, I'd probably be coming down from Colorado. I have people I know in Denver and Pueblo, so I'd probably be coming down I-25 driving ISNTA. Problem, I'm planning on breaking the trip up into 3 or 4 days of driving and sightseeing on the way to the canyon.
Okay, no, if you're coming down from Colorado, that's easy. In fact, you come through Taos usually, going through from Colorado. So there you go. There you go. But yeah, I really love the Old West history here. Kicked the Spanish out twice. The only folks that the natives couldn't kick out were the Americans once they finally put their foot down. Did the Trail of Tears and all that fun stuff. Fucking Andrew Jackson and his Indian Wars. It's worth it. I mean, it's very old world. Again, we speak... Many people here still speak 500-year-old Spanish. Which is super neat. And then we got our old artsy-fartsy culture there, a lot of hippie culture. That's what revitalized us, was the 60s hippie culture coming through here, and Easy Rider, right? And that whole set of culture. I like this place. And Taos Mountain is wonderful. But yeah. I still don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I gotta, break myself down to do that. I can show the trailer from that. Sure, I guess I will show you that. Yes! Give me antlers. I have many antlers in this house, actually. I have elk jawbone up here to the left. Great stuff, Elizabar. Yeah, let me show that trailer, because I'd be doing justice without doing that. And then we'll go from there.
Said, be great to see some cool sights like you're describing. Also, should I order green sauce or red sauce on my enchiladas? I don't want to get killed in a gang war.
It's both. It's both here. It's both or either or. We're pretty chill about it. As long as it's New Mexican chili. That's all that matters, red or green. As long as you're getting actual local stuff. It doesn't matter which. I think I like the green here more, personally, but I just like that flavor more. But both is kind of the go-to. Again, as long as it's local. Just get New Mexican chili or else you're wasting your time. In fact, I would put it up against Texas or Arizona. Chili any day. Probably makes more money in Texas, but I don't know if it's better. Where was it? I just had it. Let me show this trailer real quick. Display capture. But I got this too much though. tunage. Go away, tunage. So anyway, this Sunday, the first To Walk with Giants video will be a stream / kind of podcast. We're setting it up as it's going to be both. I'm excited. It's me and my oldest friend. I've known him basically my entire life. Closest thing I have to a brother. Chatting about, again, as it says here, big ideas, humble talk. So, talking about, I think the first one we want to do is the concept of authenticity, what that means. And so that'll lead towards talks about truth and whatever. And we just do it for an hour or what have you. Hopefully, from our perspectives, we'll get something kind of worth listening to out of it. That's the hope. Been working on that stream setup for a while. He did this video. Howdy, I'm Cody Fernandez. Surrounded by the weight of existence, I found solace in art and storytelling. I know that guy! Spending nearly 20 years making my thoughts manifest in comics.
Hello, I'm Christopher Messick, and in a society that promotes emotional repression, I've spent the better part of 20 years learning to better express myself through music.
Join us as we filter the art of philosophy through our own creative lenses, discussing life experience as well as the teachings of those who have come before.
Though we do not claim to have answered these eternal questions, we believe that through discussion and sharing, we may better understand the concepts of wisdom as well as each other. We all walk with giants. Let us not walk alone.
There you go. That's what we're doing. We're doing it. Spent some time on this. It's our first big collaborative effort for a while. I think it'll be fun. It'll be every other week on Sunday at 7 p.m. MST. So hopefully it'll be my consistent stream. Because there's not any of those. Right. I just kind of stream when I'm able to. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I think it'll be fun.
Laguna Munta said, every other Sunday.
There's the guy. Yes, indeed. Every other Sunday.
Laguna Munta said, good morning.
Morning, brother. This is a trumpet. It's dope. Love me some trumpet. Yeah, folks, that kind of covers what I wanted to do. I wanted to finish the brand guide here, but I don't think I have my hair all fudged, or is that just the digital thing giving me alfalfa kind of? But I did. This part's gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to structure that. But the other bits, I got a good chunk of it done, so I'm happy. And I don't think there was any other work I needed to do involving that. I could throw on a game for a little bit because I am waiting to hear back, what time this guy's thinking. Well, if it's at 11:30, then I won't hear back from him until it's 10. So I got time. So I want to play something. I need coffee and food. That's where animals were fed at 6, so that's not an issue. There we go. No. Oh, no. There we go. Right there. There you go. Yeah, I think I'll probably call because we're about at 2 hours. And then I might be back here in a little bit with a gaming stream. I think that's how I should start because I need to eat. My brain's super fogged. Yeah, I don't think there's any other notes I needed to hit today. Moving forward, one step at a time, just being patient. It was nice to have the talks with this individual that will hopefully manifest and bear some fruit here next year. Again,
David Schmeling
just patience.
Said, regarding the stack of comics to read, finally got my hands on Batman Beyond the White Knight. Laguna Munta said, it's over 9,000.
It is very much over 9,000. crush the Scouter. Mr. Schmeling, I have heard nothing but good stuff about Sean Gordon Murphy's work. I love his designs. He's got a super unique style for his line art. I don't know if he does his own coloring as well, but that tends to put a really cool mood to how he does his line art. His Batman Beyond design was really cool. But I've never checked it out. I can, I almost got Plot Holes, which was his first like real crowdfunding comic effort, but I didn't. So yeah, he seems like a cool cat. He's definitely one of the less antagonistic figures in comics that actually like makes money. So I hope that's good. I don't have anything to read that's Western comic right now that I'm like, yes, I need to read. I bought the latest Gru the Wanderer like volume, but then I found out that it's part 3 of a 3-part series. And I looked at the other 2 parts, and since they do not give Mr. Aragonis any sort of real print run at all, the first volume is $150 and the second is $50. So that ain't happening. So I haven't read that. Which sucks. I really wish, like, the only reason his comics are worth anything is because they don't give him shit for print runs, and he actually does have an audience. I think Usagi Yojimbo, because Stan Sakai works on Gru and has since the beginning, which is really cool. He's been his letterer since the beginning. I think Usagi's a little bit easier to read. So I'm considering maybe picking up some Usagi Yojimbo.
David Schmeling said, Sean Gordon Murphy is one of the friendliest creators I've ever communicated with online trying to get Plot Holes next.
I like this next quote from Ichthy.
Said, colorist hate Sean Gordon Murphy. You can't work with his heavy cross-hatching and line work, so flat colors are literally the only thing you can do for his art.
Yep, it's like hyper detailed, and what you're talking about is cross-hatching, exactly, and he likes sharp lines, and a lot of them. Again, it's really cool, but yeah, I could see a colorist be like, I can't add any texture to this. It's literally all just lines. So yeah, I could see that. That's fun. Here, so folks know who we're talking about, just in case you're not aware. Though I think everybody here is, but Batman. Images. Okay, first thing is Snyder Capullo. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, we can do colors and the non-colors. So that one actually, I think somebody else did that color. So that doesn't look like the kind of coloring they do to his work. But yeah, we can use this, for instance. Okay, boom. Over here. So good. It's so good. I mean, look at the personality to it. It's lovely. Like, he could definitely get away with a black and white book. Easy. But here it is colored, right? So flats. And then, like, this guy did a little bit of lighting, but I think he was a little heavy-handed on the lighting. This might not be, like, official Sean Gordon. It might be, like, fan coloring. You see the other one, right? I think this is closer to the style they go for.
Ichthy said, I laugh at Sean's interview when he brings up colorist. He tries his best to hold back the line work. Rough.
You shouldn't have to. They should just shut up. No, I'm kidding. But I get it. Like, no, I totally, like, just look at this. It's not a mess. It's beautiful, but it is to work on top of. I bet that is a mess. So yeah, exactly what they do. They do very light, like flats. And you know what? The flats work. This is the kind of line art that you wouldn't really want to do too much to, right? Anyway, even if you like really wanted to. Like, look at that. That is definitely not pro color. This guy's trying to work on top of it, and he just muddied the fuck out of it, right? Look at that. It's not good. That's not very good color, but too much on this work there. You need to do flats like this. Or like lighting those candles, that works, right? But like everything else is just so muted. But which is perfect for Batman. I wouldn't want to do a bright, like, happy-go-lucky kid story with Murphy's line art, right? Because it's very hard to do heavy saturation, bright color. So good. So love it. God, what's this other guy I've been loving for Batman? I've been seeing a lot. Let's see if I can find it quick. Put Lee. It's like a French, or it's an Italian. Bermejo. Might be Spanish. It's Spanish. It's Latin. It's Latin root. This guy. But let me find one that's colored properly. Yeah, this fucking guy. Lee Bermejo. Holy shit, this guy. Anytime he comes up on my timeline.
Said. There's no need to add neon lights over his work. This is exactly what Sean is talking about, lol.
Yep, exactly. That was terrible. But this fucking guy. I'm not always for the hyper-realistic stuff, but something about this guy and how he conveys mood with Batman. So good. This right. He also makes Batman feel like a thug. Feels like somebody go toe-to-toe with things that people shouldn't go toe-to-toe. Again, I'm not...
Elizabar. Said,
that would make sense.
Wasn't it Bermejo who drew the Batwing in that one miniseries a couple of years ago, lul?
Oh, I bet they oh god, I feel so bad for him. If he was the guy who they paired with Tom King, I feel so bad for him. Because Tom King is such a insecure writer. He has to fill pages with bubbles. And so he just destroys layouts and he destroys pacing. Oh, I feel so bad if that's true. But, I mean, look at this. I love it. Love it. Again, I'm not always for the super realistic stuff, but when I come across the pinups from this guy, I'm always happy. But I could see him doing that. I could see him being the guy that they gave Tom King, so that, oh, well, don't worry, we'll give him one of our best and coolest artists. And fucking Tom King. Like, I would love to say. I think he did do. Reminds me of. Is it Leo Fernandez? Punisher. Kind of reminds me of him. I think it's Leo. Yeah.
David Schmeling. Said,
where's the line art though?
Another creator that does great ink work is Liam Sharp. He is one of my favorite illustrators.
Sharp's great. It's not even just ink work with him. I love his painting and his layouts, right? So,
Ichthy. Said, wow, these sequential pages are phenomenal.
Oh yeah. So this is him when he's like toned down and not actually able to paint. Here's him when he paints. I fucking love Liam Sharp paints. It's so good. Like, I love Liam Sharp. It's like, these are ugly tones, and he just made it beautiful. And when he's not, he's got the British comic book style, right? Very much a British comic book. That's like in the book, right? Green Lantern, they had to pare it down. But when they actually give him, like, here, you can have the whole pinup. You can have the whole cover. Sharp, he's one of my favorite creators. And he's been really cool to my work, too, which has been nice. Liam Sharp's, he's a deer, as you would say. It's so good. Big fan of Sharp's work, for sure. Is that Alan Scott? But yeah, Bermejo's sequential pages are wonderful. The fact that they buried him with Tom King, I'm not surprised. No, that is not Alan Scott. I don't. But yeah, I love Sharp. He did oh god, what was that called? Starhenge, which I know Laguna Munta has read the first volume of. I thought it was going to be one thing, and it is mostly another thing, so that's why I'm not the biggest fan of it. It was very much a bait and switch. But I never have an issue with his artwork. Just look. It's so good. And so unique. For just leans his layouts, right? Like, so cool.
Eliza Barr said,
I forgot
Starhenge
to
was
read
the
that too.
hottest garbage, so hot it was like garbage in a dumpster behind Taco Bell on fire. Laguna Munta said, I enjoyed the first issue but not enough to pursue it further.
What?
David Schmeling
I remember
said,
the review from Eliza Barr,
yes, his
actually.
illustrations are generally one of the best works I've ever seen. His comic Starhenge is just pure inspiration to me.
Oh,
Ichthy
it's gorgeous.
said,
Oh, fucking,
wow, beautiful.
again, like
Laguna Munta
his artwork is
said, I enjoyed his Batman Reptilian with Garth Ennis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and then he did Green Lantern with Grant Morrison. So you know that the English writers tend to have really good eye for their talent, like who they're working with. So I can see that. Like, look at this. I don't even know what's going on, but it's pretty. It's a fight. I don't know. I love his artwork. I think he's one of those artists, and I'm going to use that more generally, who think they can write and maybe they can't. Right? I've come across many, particularly crowdfunded comics. My God, please get it. Batman Reptilian. I'm guessing it has to do with Crocodile. Yeah. See, he did this Arkham Asylum kind of, or Madhouse on a Mad Earth kind of artwork for this one. I remember that. Super expressive. A little bit of, oh God, what's his name? I fucking love him too. I don't like Stray Toasters from him. I did a review of this fucking awful book. In terms of like thematics and then what it's expressing, it's super expressive. What's his name though? Sienkiewicz. Bill Sienkiewicz. My God, he's another guy who's just like, you know his style. And I've read some of his earlier stuff where he was doing more comic book style, and he can do it. But eventually they told him to just do his work. Up with stuff that's super expressive, like what Sharp's doing here. Sienkiewicz is so good. And he can actually like write when he needs to. But yeah, the layouts and stuff. No,
Laguna Munta
I don't think that's just you.
Said,
honestly.
Sometimes his art is hard to decipher, so you lose some story beats, but that's probably just me.
No, I think that's just the nature of this kind of artwork. When you're doing more abstract work in comics, you're going to muddy the waters. It's just inevitable. I don't think that's just you, brother. Like the panel layout on this, like, is it just those two panels? Or are you supposed to like check out that? I think it's just these 3 panels. But yeah, anyway, I think when you do the abstract stuff, that's just the nature of it, and it can work really well. Again, like I don't know who the artist was. Mysterious Earth. I think that's it. Yeah. I don't remember who the artist was in this, but like it just ends up getting kind of muddy. It looks like in this, and the paneling was a little less abstract. This is a great read, by the way. It's probably one of my favorite Batman. Oh, I know it's Grant Morrison. I just don't know if who the artist was in it. Just that picturely style.
Laguna Munta
and it's supposed to convey madness,
said,
right? So
I want to check out some of his Green Lantern eventually.
Yeah, sure. I heard good things, and of course it's Morrison. So when Morrison's like working with somebody correctly, I've heard nothing but good things about Morrison's like superhero stuff. I've wanted to check out Animal Man forever. But yeah, big fan of this stuff where it's like they're taking a lot of
Laguna
risks.
Munta said, Liam Sharp Green Lantern.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's Grant Morrison Green Lantern as well. It's the same. Get a bar. Nice. Good filter, brother. Good filter. Gonna make me look ridiculous. At least be creative. Yeah, but I love that kind of stuff. I love simple stuff. The thing I love most is when there's a very clear artistic style, period. Even if that's super abstract. Get Sinkovich, it can be as abstract as what I just showed, if not more so in some cases. But he's done classic cape, normal kind of comic book style as well. Very cool.
David Schmeling
Skilled cat.
said, discovered plenty of European comics, a lot of awesome content. Some of them are very detailed and rough, so it can be difficult to look at, but all of this is very refreshing to see and read.
Right. I'm a big fan of that as well. Like, again, I want people to be honest and not trying to just copy something popular, which has been a problem in superhero comics forever. Everybody wants to look like somebody else. There's different time periods of styles, right? But there are always like a massive group of like, this is where it's safe. And Marvel had its house style for a while. DC has had its house style for a while. Like, fine. But I would much rather have something unique, expressive, that fits the writing as closely as possible, instead of, well, it kind of looks like this, and the writing's kind of, instead of vanilla, right? Instead of like just different flavors of vanilla, just different like brands of vanilla. Like a book that's really hard to read that I have right back there, Scud. It is Insanity, put to page as well, and some of my favorite comics are that. In fact, I make a comic that's that. But just, you know, I try and structure it a lot more. And I don't have an insane artist on a comic page. Show you Scud. Checked out Scud before. Rob Schwab. And Dan Harmon, by the way, as well. But Rob Schwab. Oh, that page colored. I don't want colored. Black and white. It's black and white. Here, yeah. We'll go through a couple different pages. Oh, I wonder where that... that's not terribly unclear, right? That's not...
David Schmeling
but,
said, the quest for the Time Bird is one of my favorite Eurocomics, very expressive style.
Huh, that's an interesting title, too. Well, I mean, Mobius. Anything Mobius. And that came out through... he's another one with a super unique style that could do a couple different ones. I really want to read... I think it's called Blueberry? It's his Western he put out. I really want to check that out. Haven't gotten to it, though. And then what's the big one? Oh, what's the big one? It's on Global Comics. It's called, like, Inca or something like that. But anyway, Rob Schwab. It's just... he did this. It's basically him working through a breakup. And like the hand lettering, it's always fun too. There are some more crazy layouts. It's not come across. And then there's another artist, and I don't know his name. Let me see. A pager, yeah, sure. It'll come up. What's his name? Oh, this is Frank Whiteley. Okay, that makes sense. All right. So Frank Whiteley as well. His fucking layouts. Like, this is a messy fucking layout for like 99% of artists could pull this off. And then this one too. My God, this is the one I was thinking. Well, that makes sense. So All-Star Superman's fucking artist too. That makes sense. But what? This is a 18-panel page. Who the fuck does an 18-panel page and actually makes it work? Frank Whiteley does. In fact, he did multiple 18-panel pages and made them work. Like, look at this double page spread. It's disgusting for anybody but these two. This story is just so fucking heartbreaking, too. But it's my favorite Grant Morrison. Nothing comes close to it. But Frank Whiteley, I thought, okay, I wasn't sure that makes sense though.
Laguna Munda
was a weak writer.
said, I enjoyed Mobius' art for Silver Surfer, but I think Stan Lee is the weakest Silver Surfer writer, could have been more.
Stan Lee was very
Josh
much
the
a
Amazing
corporate
Animator
copywriter.
said, "Sup dog."
Sup! We're looking at crazy stylistic artists in comics. That's what this ended up doing. But welcome, Josh. Welcome, welcome. And so I wasn't sure who was the artist on We 3, but it makes sense. It's Frank Quitely. Probably the best collaborator with Grant Morrison. Just love it. And he makes 18 panel pages work in some cases. It's crazy. Forgot the artist on. Oh god, this is probably more than 18 panels. It's been on this double page. It's so hard to make that work without ruining your pacing. This kind of stuff, but you'll notice there's no dialogue on the pages. There's no words, so it doesn't fuck with the pacing in the same level as having the very common 9-panel boxes that they do now, where it's just them looking at the camera and then looking away. That's like in so many comics these days. So boring. It just destroys the pacing. This is supposed to be chaotic, and there's no dialogue because you're dealing with animals. It's still one of the most heartbreaking comics ever made, but still very, very, like, Frank Quitely's crazy, and Grant Morrison is crazy, so it works very, very well.
Eliza Barr said, 9-panel layouts are old, we need 16 or 25 panel layouts.
Did just show an 18-panel layout, and there was like 3 pages there, examples from Frank Quitely. But again, there were no dialogue in them, so the pacing's fine. You're moving a second. You're still spending about the same amount of time as you would on a dialogue-filled page. They were smart about it. Had you put near any dialogue or more than just onomatopoeia on there, it'd be a mess. Tried to explain this to a new comic book creator because I read his book. He's like, "Oh, I'm just giving them more value. You're destroying the pacing." And he just wouldn't understand that. In fact, the review
Eliza Barr
is on my channel
said,
if you want to see that.
needs to be written by Bendis so there's 1 paragraph per panel. Josh the Amazing Animator said, I actually have a 20-panel layout in Pineapple Pizza Man.
I have to caution against it every time. You need usually 1 to 6 panels per page for decent pacing, depending on what your writing's like, right? But 20 panels is very possible. Again, those were some examples of very panel-filled pages that work. And that's me. Again, I tried to make that very clear as well when I was talking to this younger comic creators, like, well, yeah, do it, but how you did it didn't work. From my perspective. If it worked from yours, great. It's your work. Do what you want with it. But, like, the pacing was terrible. Like, if you're trying to convey chaos or insanity or anxiety or paranoia, massive amounts of panels can work. If you're just doing it because, well, I had to finish this page and I had to get all these thoughts on there, the thought's broken. It's not concise. It is messy. But again, there's quite a few emotions that can be conveyed with clusters, I'll call it, of panel. And again, the less writing on that, the more likely you are to pull it off without breaking pacing. Pacing is the number one thing that keeps me reading a book. Even the story and such doesn't have to be that great if the pacing's good, right? Like, if you've pulled me in and, like, I'm not a huge fan of what's going on or the characters or whatever, if it's easy to read and I'm already in there, I'm gonna keep reading. That's not to say that it's not better to have, like, an awesome story and a killer characters for that pacing to really, like, hit home and me devouring it and be like, yes, I have to read the next chapter. But if it's got shit pacing but good characters, I'm still probably not going to get through it as easily, if at all. It's one of the strongest speed bumps and barriers for me as a comic reader to actually enjoy a work is moneyed pacing. Yeah. So that's me. I had very muddied pacing in issue number 2 of Jack. I had a lot to say and not much space to say it, and I didn't do it in a lot of panels, but I didn't also do it as refined and as precise as I could have, right? If you're being precise with your work, it usually doesn't have fat to trim. And there was fat that could have been trimmed in issue 2. Same with issue 3, but issue 3 I was a little bit better. I think 4 I hit what I need to hit. I think it's the balance I want to hit from now on. If not, just, continual refinement, but less refinement needed.
Josh the Amazing Animator
agrees with me on that, yeah.
said, "Pacing is the single most important element in a comic in my opinion."
I think it goes hand in hand with clarity, right? Clarity of writing or clarity of paneling, let's say. But that's pacing too, right? Like you could define that as pacing as well, because if you have, maybe it's a 3-panel page, but those 3 panels aren't clear, they're spending more time on it, you broke your pacing even though it didn't have much there to begin with, right? So that could be defined as clarity, but I think clarity serves pacing, so at the end of the day it's still pacing. Yeah. But I agree. Like, that's what makes it enjoyable. Otherwise, people can just watch a movie, and a movie can have awful pacing. But it's less active, so they're more likely to sit through awful pacing in a film than they are to actively engage with awful pacing in a comic. Again, that's why I like mangas, because they have... they're more keenly aware of pacing, and they're more sure of that their artistic expression in a lot of cases than Western comics, particularly mainstream Western comics are. There's this terrible disconnect in a lot of modern comics that I've seen between artist and writer, where the writer is so insecure of their own talents that they need to cover up the artist's talents in order to feel good about what they're doing. They need to not allow the artistic end of comic books to speak. They have to stand on top of it, right? They have to be like, blah, 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 I'm this. And if a comic page can have no words and still convey the idea, it is a success. A comic page with no art isn't really a comic page. It can be done. I've seen it. You got your black page and you have a couple words, right, just sprinkled in there, or you have like a couple
Josh
phrases.
the Amazing Animator
But
said,
I agree.
"Artists and writers need to be collaborators. They have to complement each other to work."
I agree, 100%. And that is not a thing that is fostered in the industry culture so much. It is certainly fostered in between independent artists and groups of folks themselves, right? Particularly independent scenes, how we survive. But it's a lot harder to find these days, particularly at Marvel. I think DC's a little bit better about it. But it still happens. It's still rough. Marvel, they give a bunch of like low-level, underpaid talent books, and they're trying to make their names, so they're happy to stand on top of each other instead of stand together, right? And it just goes through there. You can tell. They're not only standing on top of each other, they're standing on top of the IPs, they're standing on top of the fans, they're standing on top of so many things. They're happy to use a Berserk reference, they're happy to be a Griffith. Just pile the bodies until I'm where I need to be. Because I already got a couple
Eliza
bodies,
Bar
so why stop?
said, "Crab bucket."
Crab bucket. Yep, that's another way to say it. And it has more of a downward trajectory, so it's almost more accurate. But yeah, it's rough. It's rough. So I'm glad I don't exist in that culture. But it is one I have to be aware of. It's one I have to be aware of. And that's the thing too, though. The artistic expression is always greater than some of its parts if everyone is actually like collaborating and adjusting and adapting and actually filling out what the art is, because art is a ongoing manifestation. You have your plans, you have your rigidity, you have your idea how you're going to tackle
Eliza
it.
Bar
But
said, At least Griffith achieved godhood as opposed to Marvel staffers who can upgrade from dry cat food to wet cat food.
This is true. He did forge his kingdom. And he kept the illusion up too, so he can be worshipped as well. Griffith's a fuck. He's very good at it. So that's true. That's fair. That's fair. It's true. Wet cat food, dry cat food. And then they can draw their cats eating tacos, right, in their Captain Marvel comics. God, and poor Captain Marvel, or Marvels, right now, they are trying so hard. It's like, remember Marvel Cinematic Universe? Do you remember? This is still here. We're still doing it. It's, ouch. That's how the market, I feel so bad. Brie Larson is already like, ugh, I don't want to deal with this anymore. That's gonna be a hard whack. It's gonna be a hard whack. It's like, remember Nick Fury? They're trying to it's so hard. Like, they're trying to make it look like his movie in some of the trailers now. It's the desperation of Marvels right now is just it's so smelly. You can smell it through your screens. It smells of poor investment. It's rough. It's rough. Oh well. They're getting their comeuppance. There's a game I want to play on stream called Hellboy: Web of Weird. I was watching the it's one of the greatest like 3D adaptations of Mignola's art style. And we're talking about unique art styles. Fucking hate Mignola. But come out, but the animations are terrible. So I'm kind of curious if it also feels terrible to play. I was reading some of the reviews, and some people say it was very rough, or very rushed.
Said,
so I don't know.
that S not desperation, that S Brie Larson S unwashed hair you're smelling, I mean sorry I couldn't resist the cheap shot.
Yes, it's fair. But anyway, I wish Dark Horse wasn't flailing around. I wish IDW wasn't flailing around, and they, they lost Transformers to Image under Skybound, and fucking Daniel Warren Johnson just having his name attached to it made Transformers like a big deal in comics for a minute there. I hope it still is. I hope the series goes very well, but that #1 Transformers was like the biggest comic launch of the year. It's fucking Transformers. But because it's Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer, but mainly because it's DWJ, and he is honest, emotional, expressive, creative on a Transformers book that is an IP he loves. And somehow that's a big fucking deal these days instead of being the norm. It frustrates me, but it's wonderful for him. I love him as a creator. He's probably my favorite creator from so many standpoints in the mainstream right now. But the fact that that's like all it took, right? That like that's not the norm. That's not it's special instead of like why Spider-Man creator. Why isn't there that hype for like the next Spider-Man creator, the next Batman book? Fucking Transformers. I love Transformers. Grew up with Transformers. It's great that it had that. It shouldn't be able to compete with those IPs. Just straight off the bat. It's a toy commercial IP. But it's because they put somebody who loves it and is beloved on it. And they can't do that for Spider-Man. They can't do that for Batman.
Said, man, did you see what Ben Temple-Smith alleged on Twitter the other day?
Well, so, for one, he's one of those guys who has been kind of jaded. So, I have to take some of those creators, as respectable as they are, with a grain of salt when they're talking shit. Just period. So, no, I didn't see it, but I know Temple-Smith is disgruntled. So, it's one of those things that, again, I have to kind of take with a grain of salt. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's truth to it, because the industry is a cesspool. Most industries are a cesspool. Comics in particular. You mentioned crab bucket. It's very much a crab bucket. And they just hope to fill it with enough crabs that somebody can crawl out, right? It's just fucked up. So no, I don't. What did he allege? What did he allege? I am not so much a gossiper, but I do like having my ear to the ground. mainly the CG shit lately. I mean, to be fair, the Rippaverse did become the top
Elizabar
CG
said,
over
an IDW exec
caps.
that screwed him over was spending company money on sex basically.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. IDW has been a shit show forever. I can very much see that. Okay. See, that I don't think that's so much talking shit as just like, man, I held my tongue for so long. It is terrible. And you people are terrible. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Poor Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's been poor TMNT for a long time.
Said, it explains how they got to the sorry state the company is in today. LUL.
Yep. No, I'm not surprised. In fact, they've been like bankrupt for a long time, right? Morally, apparently, forever, but actually, with all these massive IPs, it's terrible. It's like Dark Horse has a couple massive IPs, but what keeps them afloat is the manga. Again, I am so happy Innocent, they picked up Innocent. Somebody there knows good work. I mean, whoever picked up Berserk back in the day for Dark Horse, like, fucking A, how did they convince them to do that? Just because, like, how many people can look at a couple pages of Berserk and be like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? And somebody looked at it, read it, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Because it is. Innocent's the same thing, by the way. You can open a couple pages of that, and it is, what the fuck degeneracy are you reading? And you actually read it, and it is one of the most beautiful expressions of sequential art I have ever come across. It's graceful, thoughtful. Anyways, coming out the end of this month, I'm going to finally be able to collect that book. I'm so happy. I hope it sells really well and keeps Dark Horse afloat. Because it's basically the manga and Hellboy. Gru the Wanderer's on Dark Horse as well.
Said,
they don't print enough of him.
I heard degeneracy and I'm suddenly paying attention again.
If you've not read Innocent, that makes sense because it hasn't been printed in English before. You had to read fan translations of it. But I read that New Year's Eve 2021, I want to say. I couldn't stop. It was 176 chapters. I could not stop myself. There's two series. There's Innocent and Innocent Rouge, which is kind of a sequel. It follows another character during the same events, is the best way to say it. It's the main character's sister, little sister. And the overall, it follows the French Revolution, and particularly the head executioner of the French Revolution, from childhood and becoming an executioner to literally the end of the revolution and Napoleon starting to take power. It's so good. Sakamoto he's one of those, man. He's one of those mangaka. He does not use onomatopoeia. Instead, he uses visual expression for it. And he loves using a visual metaphor for things. For instance, splitting a guy's head open, he does a opening ripened pomegranate. He did a couple shorts and one-shots where, like, an avalanche was occurring. And you see the super extreme fear in the guy's face, and then you see a skyscraper breaking. That kind of thing. He and his assistant spent a ton of time making it historically accurate in terms of what the visuals of France at that time were. And then he'll do a wonderful visual metaphor. A giant golem crashing through the city is when the French finally were rounding up the aristocrats and were starting to behead them. Things like that. But it's so much more. It's so much more. It accurately conveys itself. If you like Berserk and you can handle Berserk, but you want something more poetic and graceful, and less of a giant slab of iron, right? And Berserk's very heavy-handed, and he knew it. Innocent is right up your alley, and whoever the exec was at Dark Horse who actually found it is like, nobody's printed this in English? Oh, I wouldn't kiss their feet, but I would shake their hand and say thank you very much, because I was so worried that would never actually come out in English and I wouldn't be able to have the physicals. It is... Dollcoin says it's probably the best piece of sequential art he's ever read, and I can't deny that. I can't, like, Berserk comes up there, Battle Angel Alita for different reasons, but still, it's pacing, it's communication. Here, I'll show you. I'm just so, like, end of this month, I get to have the first volume. And it's going to piss me off I can't read it again all the way through, right? Because it's going to be one volume at a time every few months. It is brutal. It is horrific. It is very human. So if you can handle Berserk, you can handle this. It's more grounded, of course, but he uses poetry and metaphor more. Oh, he's so good. Oh, he's so good. It's super, like, pretty, too. You want very great. It's very feminine and then very angry and dark. It's nothing like it. Nothing. So Instant Rouge follows the sister here. Nothing like it. Filled with the dignity of the Sun King will surely be descended upon the upper justice. So good. Oh, this is him showing the little sister anatomy books, because she's a little psychopathic. She started dissecting animals really young, right? And so he's trying to show her how to do it correctly, at least, right? So she's not just mutilating. Oh, you guys can't even see it. My God, I'm so sorry. Literally, I'm denying you horrifically beautiful art. And just like how he does texturing, or his team, because it is a team. There's quite a few assistants that work on this. And it's finished. It's a story you can finish. That's the other bit too. It's not going to go on forever. I mean, you follow, what's her name? Austrian princess married into the French. Marie Antoinette. It took me a second. You follow her for a while. Societal opinions on medicine was a big part of that, because the executioners were the only ones who really dealt with bodies, with humanity, so they were also some of the best doctors, right? Oh, I love this series so much. So much. It's so good. I'm so glad Dark Horse picked it up. Like, that, if it doesn't sell that well, I don't care, as long as they keep putting it out. As long as they actually put out the whole series, I don't care if it sells as well as Berserk did. And I hope Berserk fans check it out. Ah, I love this series. Oh, fine. But yeah, forever, the only way to read this was fan translations in English. They printed it in Spanish, they printed it in Japanese, of course, they printed it in German, they printed it in a bunch of different languages, but never in English. And Dark Horse is like, oh, okay, finally. Fucking A. I'm such a fan of it. Yeah, that panel in particular, I'm a big fan of that. You can tell it's a fan translation because they have notes at the bottom. It's such a vibe. It's an awful, terrible, terrible vibe, but some of the best ways. Oh, is this him as a kid during his first execution, right? Yeah. See how the sword's all bent? Yeah, he wasn't very good at it. He's 14, killing a person on stage. Then when he wants to go light with those fucking line art. Oh, God, it's not even loading all of it. It's not a very HD picture, is it? But man, I'm so excited. They did the big printing like they're doing with Berserk too. So this is something like you want on the top of your shelf. You don't want any kid to pick up, but there's some other book. But because yeah, they can open any page of that book and it's going to traumatize them. But same time, as an adult who wants to consider bigger thematics and theories and just these rough ideas of existence, this is just, if that's some of why you like Berserk, that's all of what this is.
Elizabar said, I'm just waiting for accidental nudity to show up and get your stream nuked.
There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of sex. It's the French. There's a lot of sex. But luckily, I had Safe Search on. I'm not that bad. I don't have Safe Search on other things, but I do on this browser for that reason. But yeah, there would have been nudity. Like, some nasty, like, mutilated kind of nudity as well. But good catch. Might as well stop. But anyway, proud of Dark Horse. I've got my pre-order in November 28th. It ships, and I'm not going to shut up about that. I am so stoked it's coming out, and so glad again. If Dark Horse does nothing else good for the rest of their existence, right? That they've done that, and I am a happy man, because Sakamoto deserves so much more credit than he's gotten too. He is just an incredible artist. But yeah, anyway, end of the month, and then Volume 2 is in April. So that's about how they'll come out, and I don't know how many there'll be. I'm assuming they're doing the same thing they did with Berserk, which is 3 volumes per, the omnibus size. What do they call that? Tonkabon size. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm so excited for that. That's another thing that's like, it's gonna keep me going. So I gotta make sure I can pay for those. Yeah, I'm excited. It's Dark Horse. It's the best thing Dark Horse is doing right now. I know they just released Hellboy again in some giant collected bit. I started Hellboy, and I can see how people really like it. I liked it, but his pacing can be kind of rough. Yeah. I just have to say that about Mignola. At least early. I've just started Seed of Destruction, so maybe it gets significantly better post Seed of Destruction. Looks cool. Fucking love Mignola's style. It's that minimalist with a huge amount of expression to it.
Said, Dark Horse is also publishing sporadically Cyberpunk 2077 comics.
Yeah, it won an award recently, the Cyberpunk book. So good for them. Like, killer. It's a good license to have. See, Dark Horse doesn't fuck up as much as the others. They maybe not have as many successes as many other publishers, but they don't fuck up as much. I know there was an exec up there who during the big like allegation era of indie comics, which was just a year or two ago, he got some shit thrown at him. I don't know if he's still there or not. But besides that, Dark Horse usually keeps its head to the ground, which is nice. Again, if they'll continuously publish Aragonis, that's another thing that they do wonderfully. I'm very, very happy with Dark Horse for a couple of different reasons. I just wish they saw more success. But yeah, IDW, I can see that being a mess. Image is like, well, we'll give these people their own imprints then. So you got Skybound, and then what? I didn't hear what Donny Cates fucked up with, but apparently he fucked up big time. Which is impressive, because he was like, Marvel was grooming his ass for a long time there, and then like, no Marvel books anymore. And he's got a little imprint over at Image now, but that's it. Crazy to see that. I heard it had to do with drugs, but this is all hearsay. I didn't look into it.
Elizabar
But yeah.
said,
Okay.
he got in a car accident and suffered brain damage, also got a divorce is what I heard.
Oh shit. 'Cause yeah, I know the marriage thing was like, that was one of his wife, who he had just married relatively recently too, I thought. They had been like working together very heavily on it. I forgot what role she ran for him, but she was part of his work. So okay, life kicked his ass, and then the drug bit was probably to deal with the brain damage. Okay. Rough. That sucks. Got everything. I don't know what led to it and all that, but yeah, that's rough. Because he was the poster boy there for a bit. Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, because I think Marvel's back to a couple of their other folks who aren't like great, but they're reliable. DC's having the same issue. But yeah, I don't know what I'd do if I was them anyway. I'd say like find some really killer like talent in the independent scene and give them a big book and see what happens. But one, that's super risky for the IP, right? But two, like, it's letting more people to a table that, like, is covered in only scraps. So I can see them not really doing that. Image, that's been their bread and butter forever, so they keep trying. Dark Horse, I don't see too much new independent talent coming out of these. Usually old stuff and licensed stuff. But again, I don't pay that much attention. There was some new Space Yojimbo, basically, right? Like Space Usagi, I think it's called. Which is good. Again, Stan Sakai. Thank God people are still giving those wonderful people work. Some of the sweetest comic creators on the planet. Some of the biggest veterans of the independent scene still have a place to publish their work. I'm so glad about that. It's funny, you look on Global Comics, and after a couple of the folks we mentioned, it's Antarctic Press, the 5th most popular publisher on there, and that includes a lot of these little independent publishers. You got Red 5, you've got Scout, you've got Mad Cave, you've got it's gonna break. You got Bad Egg, but they're kind of new. You've got quite a few of these other folks who you think would be swinging heavier than Antarctic. I'm so glad Antarctic's actually, like, they're right there, which is killer. You got Image, of course, swinging the heaviest. You've got IDW. You've got it's gonna bug me. I don't remember. Well, I'm glad Antarctic's doing well on that, at least in terms of, like, that. I don't know actual sales wise in shops and stuff. I honestly, it's hard out there, so I don't know who's doing well anywhere. Honestly. What time is it? Almost 11? 3 hours? Okay. I think I'm gonna call the stream because I still need to eat. But thank you folks so much for joining me. It's just kind of a rambly stream. We did a little bit of good work. And we did talk comics.
Elizabar said,
oh, did he?
Ciao, dude.
That took a second, Mr. Robo Man. So adios, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. I was going to maybe do a game stream, but at this point, maybe I'll just call it. And might see you this evening, but I'm going to eat. Tomorrow is Wednesday. I might be back tomorrow. We'll see if my sleeping schedule fixes. Cause, like, some days I've been waking up at 3 in the afternoon. And, like, today I've been waking up at 6 in the morning. So, like, and it's not consistent, and it's been rough. So we'll see. If I can wake up earlier, I like to stream because then I can do my coffee and stuff. If I wake up late, I can't do coffee, and so then I'm a wreck for like 4 hours. So it's harder to stream than what? It's late evening. So anyway, vaya con Dios, mi amigos. Appreciate you all, and I will catch you later. Adios. Let's go with this one. This one's fine. Thank you. Thank you for watching.